a 5-day sail, and seas are not all that bad, but they're not real good either. So and this is we've only been out about 4 hours to sea when we got to Kingman, and now Captain Bill has headed us on a course to Baker Howland. You can see here underway sailing is about 115 degrees, 112, 115 degrees, and I'm not sure what time of day this is, but Harold brought that thermometer out and exposed it for a little bit. Another boat helping Chuck, and they're going to look. Chuck knocked a hole in the bottom of his boat, beaching it on Kingman on the Zodiac, and we got to get it patched up and repaired so we can use it for landing on Baker Howland. Jesus and Captain Bill rigged this power outlet up for us, and that's Pat, the NH6UY operating, and Mark sitting there trying to limber up, getting ready for CW, I suppose. We had a 20-meter dipole we put up aboard. And as you can see, it's overcast. We're on the leeward side of the island, and the seas are a little choppy there. As we approach, you'll see a massive, as I zoom in here, you'll see a massive flock of birds feeding on fish. Also, you'll notice this is Baker Island. If anybody ever gets the opportunity to go down to Baker, be sure you carry you enough wire. There's 5 or 6 poles, there they are, on one end of the island, and right next to the water almost. And I talked to Dave Woodside, the old veteran fish and wildlife man, and David said that they are over 100 foot tall, and that they are actually telephone poles, and they've been well treated by the salt and well preserved by the salt spray, and they'll be there when we all gone. And they look like to me to be excellent 4-square array supports, and so carry climbing belt and gaffs, and be an excellent place to put a 4-square, I feel sure. These are the birds here. As we approach the island, we're still quite some way off. I've got a zoom lens on this camera and can photograph quite a ways. The time that you see on the screen is Eastern Standard Time, and I did not change my camera when I left. Welcoming committee has arrived to welcome us in, and we can just get them to give us a little better shot of themselves. They was quite excited, and I think they was perhaps as happy to see us as we was to see them and to see Baker Island. It's taken us 5 days of sailing to get down to this is Baker. Our objective is to put a crew in here, wildlife people. The sea is very rough. Some question is whether or not we're going to be able to land any people today. And as a matter of fact, we tried that, and I'll show you just a glimpse, but not much. We actually lost the Zodiac and left 2 people stranded on the island, had to chase the Zodiac down as it was going to sea. And they spent the night on the island, and one of them was Captain Bill Austin, and the other guy was Rick Schreiner from the Fish and Wildlife, and Captain Austin ordered us not to return to the island that night and wait in the morning. As you see, the seas were choppy, and there was a front or a storm there, and we was unable to land that night, and we just kind of rode the storm out that night, and and try successfully next morning to get the wildlife people on this island. Beach area. As you can see, here's Harold on the left, Chuck in the middle, and that's Mac on the right. Here's a picture of the island. As you can see, there's a tremendous population of birds here, and we didn't have nearly this many birds on Howand Island, so it was really to our advantage for that. I understand that the people who stayed on the island told us when we got back that it was rough sleeping over there with all the birds, and kept you awake all night. The only thing on the island is those poles remaining and the light tower, and as you can see, it's not a real smooth sandy beach landing, and this is where we zoom lens. We're parallel to the island now, getting ready to put one of the dinghies aboard. Captain Austin and Rick Steiner's going aboard. That's Joe surveying, and Harold, and the hands are down below, and some of the wildlife people getting the dinghy ready to go aboard. They won't be coming back. They get Rick out, and as Bill's coming back out, he flips a boat and gets towed out, and the Zodiac falls back down the water and continues out to sea, and Chuck, Brady and myself and Chuck and Manette is in there heading it off, gonna corral it. And we got orders from the captain not to come back to the ship. Not to come back and try to land at the northwest quadrant, so we didn't run aground, and let Dan Davies, the first officer, have some rest so he could be in charge of the ship the next day when we tried to land. And Joe, Harold, and myself stood watch.